Hello and welcome. My name is Dan Meyer. I'm the editor-in-chief of RCR Wireless News. Thanks for joining us today. Today we are joined by Don Keller, who's the Senior Vice President of Business Development at Hitachi, to talk a little bit about the NFV and how Hitachi is playing in the NFV space. Don, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
Great. Well, maybe start off with, I guess, a general overview of Hitachi's position in the NFV space. And obviously, NFV is a hot topic right now, and Hitachi's been around for quite some time. What's Hitachi's place right now in the NFV ecosystem?
Well, I mean, Hitachi, many people probably are not aware. Obviously, we're a large company, very diverse, doing a lot of different things. Not many people recognize that we're in the telecom space, recognize that we do power tools, power plants, all sorts of things. But so we've actually have a complete ecosystem that we deliver to Japanese operators. With the acquisition of some Nortel assets, we actually also have much more in the way of what we do with the EPC of all packet core. So we've here in Richardson, Texas, where I'm actually at, we've been developing the MME SGSN of all packet core. And as we're relatively non-incumbents, if you will, in the global market, we really had to sit there and say, well, what would differentiate ourselves? And that's where it really came to us that we do have a ATCA-based product that we sell and we have inside of the KDDI market operator. But really, for the global operators, we had to say, what can we do differently? And that's when, around the end of 2012, we decided we really have to make a move into the virtual space, into NFV. It's things are still evolving in terms of standardization, but we really felt it was important for us to move. And we did it in such a way that we just didn't take our application and throw it on inside a virtual machine and say, there it is, it's wonderful, it's virtual now, look at all the wonderful things we can do with it. But what we actually did was really break our application apart so that our subscriber control versus our signaling versus the O&M billing, those types of things, are all in different virtual machines. So we have a VNF that really scales in many different directions. And so what we basically found that we've got to be 5.9, 6.9s, the ability to be redundant, just like an operator expects an ATCA purpose-built platform is. But we then had to say, I've got to be able to scale beyond just this chassis and enable an operator, if they wanted to put on 10 million subscribers, etc., on this box, you have to have a way of being able to scale it, but scale it in such a way that it's not like just putting another MME right beside the other one, so that every other node needs to be aware that you just added it. So we scale in a way that to the other nodes, they just know this node now can handle this many more subscribers, but I don't need to change all the addressing for the ENOBs. And in doing that, it was quite, in Mobile World Congress 2013, that's when we actually introduced it in partnership with Juniper. And there was a lot of, that was one of the early movers of saying that we had a virtual EPC, and even now, today, we're in many where there are POCs in various different operators where the other incumbents really haven't come with anything, and we're all in when it comes to virtual. And that's really our differentiator, is the scalability along with feature parity. We got with the Nortel acquisition, we got all the Nortel solution and software that they had previously, but we're able to really drive the virtual component of it, and that's what we've been focusing on, and have it where for us, it's a GA product ready to go.
Yeah, and obviously too, for a company like you said, you guys are somewhat new or perhaps unknown in maybe the North American market. Obviously, you guys are pretty big in Japan, but it does seem like because of that, you guys almost need to be above and beyond what's probably out there by maybe the more traditional vendors in this space, because again, they have that name recognition, so they can kind of not skate by, but they've got that on their side. For you guys, you guys really have to, it seems, provide something more to the market than just whatever else is coming out there from the other guys. It's like a big challenge and probably a big opportunity for you guys.
Well, and that's right. Yeah, and that's where we've really seen that the operators, the traditional operators, why do they really want to go gung-ho on the virtualization? Because it opens up, they make a lot of money on hardware. When I was at Nortel, we made an awful lot of money selling hardware and allowing the software to kind of be capped and a whole bunch of other things. But now we're telling the operators, you don't have to buy any specific hardware component from us. And that immediately allows them to see a large discount over the existing incumbent vendors. And then we say, our value's in the software and being able to virtualize it. We've actually heard from a lot of operators that we've talked to that still some of the vendors have done it's in a VM, it's virtual, but they really haven't embraced or cloudify, if you will, the app, where you can really take it and now do some interesting things. We're also looking at how do you take this VNF called an MME SGSN and combine it with some other VNFs, to really enable some unique savings, whether it be in the control plane or other dimensions. And so that's what we're beginning to play with.
Interesting. Yeah, and it does seem like, too, again, this move towards virtualization, it is maybe opening up a whole new market for a lot of companies. It's a really big shift for operators. I mean, I know AT&T had mentioned, last year, their plans for along the lines of virtualization. I mean, it's a whole new shift in mentality for these carriers, and it seems like it's opening up the market a lot for new entrants or maybe entrants that weren't, established perhaps in certain areas to really come into the market now. And it seems like, obviously, like you guys have been able to get out there pretty early. So it seems like the market now, kind of going forward, it's a whole new open atmosphere out there. So it's going to be interesting to watch as it evolves over the next several years too.
Absolutely. Just taking, as you mentioned, AT&T. If you looked at what happened with AT&T, the domain 2.0 participants, 3 out of the 4 were startups or very small, vendors. And so you really can see someone like AT&T is having this opportunity where they're really bringing in some others where they are being much more aggressive and moving into a domain 2.0, a virtual space, than the incumbents. And that's what we're really hoping to seize and grasp and really move forward, is to say, look, this is what I'm doing now. It's not, yes, I do have an ATCA product, but all my focus is on a virtual product. And that we will see that really begin to mature, that, it's not that my POCs were last year. My GA now is what I'm moving forward with. And that's where we see where the rubber's hitting the road, that we say it's ready for prime time. We're out there. We're testing. We've announced that we've tested back last year with VMware and with Contrail OpenStack. So, and we're looking at other OpenStack distributions. So there's a number of different things that we're doing to really be able to say to an operator, who do you want? Here's who I have worked with, but yet I'm working with all the various different manufacturers, OpenStack distributions, to be able to really facilitate that. I really will work with best in breed.
Got it. Obviously, I'm guessing in 2015 is going to be a big year for you guys. I know it seems like the NFV space had a big year in 2014, but it seems like 2015 is another one of those years that's setting up to be perhaps another big announcement type of year. And obviously, operators are getting more excited about it too. So it seems like I'm guessing Hitachi's going to have a pretty big year in 2015 too.
Well, I absolutely hope so. Yeah, and it's really shaping up for us that it's going to be a good year. And we hope to be able to announce some things in the coming year where we're moving out of POCs into real deployments with the operators. And I think the operators are beginning to get to where they're having to deal with just this CapEx explosion, and being able to really deal with the explosion of not only the throughput but with subscribers as machine-to-machine comes online, where you're getting a lot more subscribers. So they're really beginning to say, how do I now, without increasing my CapEx, how do I now meet these challenges? And it's absolutely going to be with virtual technology, being able to utilize the low-cost servers that are out there, and having vendors that are really committed to making that space work rather than providing all the excuses of why you want to hold off on that.
Yeah, that's true. That's operators have definitely hit that inflection point where the demand on their networks is just growing and growing, and obviously they want to cut back a bit on expenses. And so yeah, it seems like virtualization is one of those ways to get there. So obviously it'll be a big year for that as well this year. So, but hey, Don, we definitely appreciate the time and insight today on the topic. Thanks again for that, and hopefully we talk again soon.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.